folks. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, wherever you're up to. Welcome to another episode of the Reacts series. Sorry it's been a while. I've been a little bit offside of late, so I'm not necessarily 100%, but I'm back, and we're about to do another tumble down the rabbit hole into the way that these techniques are used throughout film and television. What blends well from reality to the screen and from screen to reality. If you're already querying the hat, don't, because it's furry and awesome, and you can do this. So yeah, we're looking at the Mentalist again, a clip from the opening of season 4, I think. I want to say. It's right after. No spoilers, actually. No spoilers. We'll jump right into the clip.
It's okay. Under control. Get this done quick and be on our way. Hello, we're from the CBI. May well be that one of you is the murderer. If that's so, I'm going to find out who. These two are innocent. They can go.
Stick around. We're going to need...
Straight away. No actual police work has been done. You can go. Actually, Lisbon says you can't, therefore you can't. So what's he doing? Essentially, and this is only my opinion on what he does within the first 2 reads there of those 2 people. You've got a dynamic in which there is a hidden object, so to speak. That hidden object being the killer. It's irrefutable that he or she is there within that group. So you're looking for masked emotions, masked fear, anxiety, and the 2 standpoints from both of their body language displays none of those. They're not hiding anything except curiosity, concern. What's happening? I don't really know why I'm here. No anxiety. You can go.
Statement.
Neil, what's the worst mistake you've ever made? Quick.
First marriage.
Good answer. Why so nervous?
I'm not.
Now, the fun thing about that is, as mentalists, whether you're doing things properly or you're using a trick per se to help you gain certain levels of information, we work in stakeless environments, in the scenarios where it doesn't really matter on a realistic level. It doesn't matter on a societal level if you are right or you're wrong, because it's part of entertainment. It's not a pivotal, it doesn't play a pivotal role within the context of anything that's of particular importance on a grander scale, right? Although it does to your career as a performer, but that's a separate entity altogether. So what we would have to do is to create stakes within our environments that we are in, right? In order to elicit tells, reactions, body language traits, anxiety displays, in order to give us the necessary information that we need to figure out whatever it is that we're trying to figure out, right? Same could be said here of trying to put pressure on this chap to answer the question quickly. That's one of the things I do when I'm playing the 3 truths and a lie game with somebody. I'll explain the game as it works, square my hips right on to face them, look them dead in the eyes for a little bit longer than what's considered comfortable, and ask them to answer quickly. So we've got 3. The basic rundown would be you're going to say 4 things about yourself. One of them is rubbish. So 3 things that are true, 1 that is lie. You can put the lie wherever you want. Okay, understand? Right, let's go. Here we go. Statement number 1 is right, and there's the implied pressure there. So here you can already gain a lot of insight into this guy's character over where his mind, under a knee-jerk reaction of pressure, goes to. The first marriage, good answer, right? It's honest in a situation where everything is sort of skewered towards the impression that there is dishonesty afoot because somebody's been murdered, right? And this was the guy here displaying a lot of tension you can see within his shoulders, the same way you would see that if someone held their breath and then didn't relax that breath. You hold that same posture, position, the tension here, and the relaxation comes when you let go of that breath and the tension within. That's where he's seeing that from there. In deception detection, it's referred to as the difference between stomach and chest breathing, as where your tension and therefore your anxiety would lie. Oh, the dreaded buffering.
Your name?
Candace.
Candace. I like that name. Here. Thank you.
Hey.
It's okay, I'm a consultant. Candace, take my advice. Forgive your mother. Maybe the headaches will stop.
I love my mother.
Oh, I'm wrong. Ignore my advice.
You saw that already in her indignant reaction with the loftier purpose with the chin raise and the nostril flare. I love my mother. Already there's two elements there that would be not necessarily a particularly strong cluster if you were doing this in the real world per se, but let's not forget that we are dealing with media, film, television, so they would dial down their number of cluster traits that they would have in order to improve the wonder genius that is Mr. Jane in this scenario, taking advantage of that basic reciprocity action. If you look at the work of Robert Cialdini, you'll get a grander idea into what I mean by that in the nature of persuasion. If you're looking for immediate compliance within somebody that you've just met, as in immediate compliance for a level to build on, it's not going to be that they're going to hand over their keys to their subconscious just from some innocuous little incident, but this is something to build upon. If you give something, the reciprocal nature of humans is to give it back. You see this a lot in travelling gypsies who walk along the streets with Lucky Heather wrapped in tinfoil. They'll put it in your hands first of all before asking for a donation. There was a chap that I met in London who he was selling Bibles, and he put a Bible in my hand to allow me to flip through the pages before he asked me about a donation. That reciprocal nature that we have to fight against. Well, some of us do anyway. We can't all be Sheldon Cooper, right? And that's what he's taking advantage of here. The natural fluidity in somebody's body language. When you give them something, they have to open up to take it. And he's just taken advantage of that in terms of a quick look into the handbag. We didn't get a look at the prescription bottle, but when I've deduced somebody's what's the word I need? Predilection towards headaches and stress and tension headaches. It occurs a lot in the temples and in the lower lines of the jaw, because that's where they come from. The tension of the jaw is these parts that are over exaggerated and overused and overworked, so therefore they become pained after a while. The only time I've experienced success with that is when I can see from the notes on the bottle or what you've been prescribed that it is a repeat prescription. So that's where I would infer that Jane has got this idea from to forgive her mother, because there are several other elements within the bag that could point to her being single and not necessarily tense because of a partner or a loved one. But again, that's a fishing expedition on my part, because we didn't get a look in the bag. So Jane in this scenario is privy to information that we aren't. I do enjoy this way he's ramrodding through all of these unlucky people.
You're in it.
Read.
Excuse me. This is a joke, right?
A joke? A man has been killed here. Is that funny to you? Are you amused?
No.
That's
but
it.
It's a good girl.
Quick question. Green Lantern versus Thor. Who wins?
Thor.
Oh, yeah. Why'd you kill Rasmus?
I didn't.
Now, Green Lantern versus Thor. Who wins? Thor. Hands down, clearly. Now, I'm clearly only ever going to talk about... Oh dear. Apologies. I knocked the iPad. I'm only ever going to talk about my affinity for Sherlock Holmes because he's in my blood, he's in my DNA. But I've been reading comics for longer than I have been reading Sherlock Holmes, right? I got my Deadpool hoodie on. Now, I don't know if I would tackle this question as a comic book fan or some sort of revealing byplay in how this guy makes decisions. Now, you could intimate that he has his decisive factors in size and strength over will, but I don't really find any great credence within questions like this. If you're ever going to question a subject, a target, it would need to be done indirectly for sure, but if you're going to come away from the topics to such a degree as to talk about comic book characters, then you risk displacing the rapport that you could build if he doesn't know who Green Lantern and Thor is.
Candace, take my advice. Forgive your mother. Maybe the headaches will stop.
I went back a little too far.
I
it
love my
seems.
mother.
Oh, I'm wrong. Ignore my advice. You're in it.
Read.
excuse me. This is a joke, right?
A joke? A man has been killed here. Is that funny to you?
But again, you could almost predict how he was going to answer. Arguably, if you are a comic fan, there's only one answer anyway. But even if you're not, right, you could predict his answer based upon his display, his territorial elements, in terms of how he's holding himself on that sofa, on that couch. Territorial displays revolve around someone's perception of their level within a herd dynamic. So your alphas, your betas, your alpha type male or female would try and take up more of the territory than anybody else. So this is that guy sat on the sofa saying, this is me, this is where I own, and I'm comfortable enough within this particular scenario, granted it is a murder reading after all, that I can be myself and take over this dynamic. And displaying some of the almost the wolf-like pack mentality behavior in terms of the looking up, still doing with confidence, but we are protecting our organs, our necks, our throats, which if you look at the herd movements of the wolves, they are known for doing this type of behavior in terms of the beta protecting the neck throat area of the alpha in order to seem submissive. But there's this whole dynamic byplay. I'll let you look at that in your own time, but I just like that fact that he's initially showing that, yeah, okay, I might be subservient to you within this particular dynamic, but I am an alpha male, make no mistake.
Are you amused?
No.
That's
but
it. Read. Quick question. question. Green Lantern versus Thor. Who wins?
Thor.
Oh, yeah. Why'd you kill Rasmussen?
I didn't.
Now you, Miss Grumpy and Entitled, what's your story?
My name is Mandy Schultz, and I'll have you know
Let me guess, your husband is a very...
Also, the I didn't. You've got the congruency of the head shake matching the words. No differentiation in the baseline that you would immediately develop from the question revolving around Green Lantern and Thor, and you've got the byplay between the contractions and the non-contracted denials. I didn't versus I did not, right? The distancing language that would come as a follow-on.
Important person.
He is, as it happens. John's on the Modesto City Council, and this is totally unprofessional and disrespectful. I'll have my husband take this up with your superiors.
Mandy. The diet pills are messing with your mind. This is Sacramento, the big city. Your husband means nothing here.
Okay, that's enough. Agent Lisbon.
Give him another moment.
We don't need a moment. Case is all but closed. Mandy here is going to lead us right to the murder weapon. Take my hands. I need physical contact to read your mind.
You're nuts.
Prove it. If I'm wrong, if
Hellstromism.
we can't find a murder weapon, then I look like an
Psychophysiological thought reading.
Yes, you will.
I actually tried this once, and I think I've got a clip of it. If I've got the clip, I'll find it and I'll put it here.
I was going to say put it there.
What's the camera to be able to see?
That one can see it after.
So we thought it would be a good idea for people to see how I practice. So we came to my house. This is my house. What I want you to do is do you want to think of a person or a pet? Keep concentrating on it.
Well, sorry.
Really? Do you want to put one of them down and leave one of them up?
I'll just put both of them.
I'll go in the kitchen.
No.
My fingers in my ears. Hide it somewhere.
Okay.
It's fairly easy to get to and fairly easy to see, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, don't throw it out the window.
No.
Okay.
Fairly easy to see, then you're fine.
No. Do you know anybody that I don't know who you knows what pet they're on? What they have.
I was going to say put it there.
Yeah, what's the camera to be able to see?
That one can see it after.
And just tell me a bit about the person. Don't tell me the name, don't tell me the pet. Just a bit about the person.
It's a girl.
Girl, likes, dislikes, what she do for a living. We're going to share an intimate moment on camera.
Can we not?
No, just this way. And I'm just going to move your hands this way and this way, and if you just really concentrate on willing your hands towards it, okay? But only concentrate on it, don't push me that way, okay? How tall? Tell me when to stop.
Oh, well, you're taller than me.
From the floor then, you know, just tell me when to stop. There.
There.
And you know the cat's name, yeah?
Damn it!
Really imagine sending me to it, yeah? It's in this half of the room, yeah? Over this way. One more time, it'll either be this way or over here. This road? I have to do this with the camera in the way, the light in the way, because I'm going to try and write the name down a letter at a time. Okay? I'm going to go first with the first letter, then you'll write the first letter, then I'll try and get the second letter, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's gone dead over here now. Do you have the coin?
Maybe.
Is the last letter an F? What's the name?
Alfie.
Oh, I was on the right lines. I got Alex with an F.
Alex with that.
Yeah, an F on the end, so I was on the right line.
That was good because you were like, it's moved and everything.
That was so weird. It was like signal. No signal. Yeah. I mean, it works. You're revolving around unconscious reactions towards certain stigma. It could be that there is a series of tense displays one way and a relaxation in the other, or a series of relaxed displays one way and a tense display in the other. That's a rather remedial explanation of that. Banachek has an incredible book out on this, but any particular topics that you would like to learn, any particular books that have this topic are all going to be a great place to start. The way I started developing this to practice is to arrange 4 objects in a row with enough space between them that you could have a very clear, distinct physical difference between each of them. Get your willing participant, hold their wrist lightly between finger and thumb, and ask them as you move their hand just in a horizontal line, just to think, stop or down, or slam my hand down on this object, something like that. And you're feeling for the reactions, for the difference, and you're literally feeling for that odd one out. It will only be slight, so it comes from the very loose grip within your hand.
What do you... Don't speak.
And again, you've got that guy separating himself from the pack as well, a clear anxiety display.
Voila. The murder weapon.
That's simple,
crazy.
right?
I had no idea that was there.
How could you direct us right to it if you didn't put it there?
I didn't. I don't know. But I didn't kill that man. I didn't.
She's right. She has nothing to do with the murder.
What?
I just used her as a decoy to lull the real killer into giving me clean directional cues.
Oh, come on. What are you talking about now?
Whatever way he didn't want us to go is the way that we went.
The real killer.
Yeah. You want to guess who it is?
Come on, Jane.
Neil.
Hey, whoa. Excuse me, no, it wasn't. I don't even know that man.
Oh, is that right? I'm guessing that he was having an affair with your current wife. You found out and you forgave her, like...
That question, much more revealing than Neil had maybe first thought, showing the immediate thoughts that were pressing on his mind. And again, let's not forget that at this stage, we've not seen the victim. So again, Jane within this scenario is privy to information that we aren't.
A sucker. He saw you here, probably smirked and said something very clever, made you feel small. Humiliated you.
Nice work.
Oh, to be that smart, eh? Brilliant. Well, there we go, guys. That's another week, another look into the world of utilising these techniques on a much more fanciful scale. If you've got any questions, let me know. As always, smash it down on the like and subscribe and all that jazz. And let me know in the comments what you liked. And if you've got any questions about any of the material, pop them in there as well. Apologies about the mix-up during this the whole slide earlier on, but I'm working with an iPad and my iPhone at the minute, as my Mac is currently in the shop. I don't have one, so it is what it is. Right, so have yourself a wonderful day, and don't be strangers, all right? I'll talk to you all soon.